Good morning, everyone. Our group will be reported curriculum mapping. I'm Danilo C. Angelino, your first reporter. Curriculum mapping is a model for designing, refining, upgrading, and reviewing the curriculum resulting in the framework that provides form, focus, and function. It is a reflective process that helps teachers understand what has been taught in class, how it has been taught, and how learning outcomes are assessed. This process was introduced by Heidi Hayes Jacobs in 2004 in her book Getting Results with Curriculum Mapping. This approach is an ongoing process or work in progress. It is not a one-time initiative but a continuing action which involves the teacher and the other stakeholders who have common concerns. Curriculum mapping can be done by teachers alone, a group of teachers teaching in the same subject, the department, the whole school or district, or the whole educational system. Some curricularists would describe curriculum mapping as making a map to success. There are common questions that are asked by different stakeholders like teachers, colleagues, parents, school officials, and the community as well. These questions may include: number one, what do my students learn? Number two, what do they study in the first quarter? Number three, what are they studying in the school throughout the year? Number four, do my co-teachers who handle the same subject cover the same content, achieve the same outcomes, use similar strategies? And number five, how do I help my students understand the connections between my subjects and other subjects within the year, next year? Curriculum mapping may be able to answer these questions above. Benefits of curriculum mapping. Curriculum mapping ensures alignment of the desired learning outcomes, learning activities, and the assessment of learning. Curriculum mapping addresses the gaps of repetitions in the curriculum. It reveals if certain program goals or learning outcomes are not adequately covered or overly emphasized in the current curriculum. Curriculum mapping verifies, clarifies, and establishes alignment between what students do in their courses and what is taught in the classrooms and assessed as their learning. The curriculum maps visually show important elements of the curriculum and how they contribute to the student learning. Curriculum mapping connects all initiatives from instructions, pedagogies, assessment, and professional development. It is facilitates the integration of the cross-curricular skills.
Good day everyone. I am May Levi and my topic is about curriculum mapping process. Curriculum mapping is the process of indexing or diagramming a curriculum to identify and address academic gaps, redundancies, and misalignment for purposes of improving the overall coherence of a course study and by extension, its effectiveness. Curriculum mapping allows teachers to be reflective of what students were engaged with, what students required additional support or extension, and how improvement can be made to better meet student needs. The curriculum mapping results in a document known as curriculum map. Most curriculum maps are graphical illustration that consists of a table or a matrix. Most of the time, a curriculum map looks a lot like a spreadsheet. The rows show the months in a marking period and the columns show information taught in the time frame. There are 5 curriculum mapping steps critical to ensuring alignment from beginning to end or from end to beginning. Step 1 is write, identify program goals. Write or identify the program goals that specifically related to the course you are mapping. Step 2. Write, identify course learning objectives. You must decide what skills, knowledge, or attributes you want the students to achieve by the end of the course. Step 3. Prepare instructional support materials. You can start to identify, gather, and prepare the instructional materials that will assist in your instructional plans and help students achieve the course objectives. Step 4. Plan for formative course assessment. You need to identify and plan activities or assignments that will allow both you and your students to informally assess their achievements of the course objectives. Step 5. Plan for summative course assessment. Lastly, you need to identify and plan summative assessments that will allow you to formally assess student achievement of the course objectives. There are many ways of doing things according to what outcome one needs to produce. This is also true with curriculum mapping. However, whatever outcome will be made, there are suggested steps to follow. There are 2 suggested examples in making a curriculum map. The first one is for basic education and the other one is for a degree program in college. You will find example A as a component of an OBE or outcome-based education inspired syllabus for the higher education. However, this can be modified for basic education to serve specific purpose as you will see in some maps. The first thing to do is make a matrix or spreadsheet. The purpose of this matrix is to identify the program learning across the courses and experience of your program's curriculum. Is place a timeline that you need to cover 1 quarter, 1 semester, or 1 year. This should be dependent on time frame of a particular curriculum that was written. It is the expected time that it will take to teach each unit within the class. Next is enter the intended learning outcomes, skills needed to be taught or achieved at the end of the teaching. You are going to enter what a learner will have acquired or need to be learned at the end of the teaching learning process. Enter in the same matrix the content areas, subject areas to be covered. You need to enter in the same matrix what subject areas you need to cover in your curriculum map. Next is align and name each resource available such as textbooks, workbooks, module next to subject areas. Then, enter the teaching learning methods to be used to achieve the outcomes. You're going to enter also the strategies and methods to be used in the teaching learning process to enable student learning. Align and enter the assessment procedure and tools to the intended learning outcomes, content, areas, and resources. Assessments, tests used to evaluate learning achievement and progress are based on what actually been taught and with mandated outcomes. Circulate the map among all involved personnel for their inputs. And lastly, revise and refine map based on suggestions and distribute to all concerns. You can restructure the curriculum according to the needs, interests, or abilities of the learner. Revision is needed to introduce latest and update methods of teaching and contents, new knowledge and practices. Example B is for a degree program in college. Same with example A, you are going to make a matrix or a spreadsheet. Next, identify the degree or the program. Example, B.Ed or BS.Ed. Identify the subject or courses under the degree. If it is Gen Ed, Prof Ed, and major for BS.Ed. Next, list the subjects along the vertical cells of the matrix in a logical or chronological order. List the degree program outcomes along the horizontal cell. Use code as PO1, PO2, and so on if outcomes are too long to fit in the cell. PO means program outcomes. Next is cross the subject and the outcome and determine if such subject accomplishes the outcome as either learned. You need to fill up all cells. And then lastly, after accomplishing the map, use it as a guide for all teachers teaching the course for students to complete the degree in 4 years. Once we have our maps, what do we do with them? Gain information. Underline every place in the map where you learn something new about the operational curriculum. This expands your understanding of your students' experience. Avoid repetition. Recognize the difference between repetition and redundancy. Identify gaps. Examine the maps for gaps in content, thinking processes, skills, and assessment. Identify potential areas for integration. Examine for timeliness. Review the maps for timely issues, breakthroughs, methods, materials, and new types of assessment. We should be vigilant about technology. And edit for coherence. Scrutinize maps for a solid match between the choice of the content, the featured skills and processes, and the type of assessment. Curriculum maps are never considered done. They are an ongoing development seeking to improve student learning and content quality across schools. As long as teachers have new students, new classes, and new school years, the content and structure should be continually assessed and revised to ensure students get the most out of their education and for teachers to use the most effective strategies in their lessons. As teachers are continually adding more information to curriculum maps, they are never actually finished. Maps are never finished. They are a work in progress.
Okay, so the next topic is the curriculum map. Okay, so what is a curriculum map? Curriculum map are visual timelines that outline desired learning outcomes to be achieved, contents, skills, and values taught, instructional time, assessment to be used, and the overall student movement towards the attainment of intended outcomes. So these maps may be simple or elaborate that can be used by an individual teacher, a department, the whole school or educational system. We should also remember that a map is always geared to a school calendar. So a curriculum map, it also provides quality control of what are taught in schools to maintain excellence, efficiency, and effectiveness. So it is intended to improve instruction and maintain quality of education that all stakeholders need to be assured of. Okay, so sometimes parents and teachers would ask questions like this. First, why is my friend's son studying decimals in Mr. Bernardo's class and my own son is not studying the same in Miss Julia's class when they are of the same grade level? Another question is, why do some of my students recognize the parts of speech while others are totally lost? Okay, so parents and teachers and the whole educational community can look at the curriculum map to see that intended outcomes and content are covered. So it will also help stakeholder-specific information for pacing and alignment of the subject. It's either horizontally or vertically. So this will also avoid redundancy, inconsistencies, and misalignment. Courses that are not correctly aligned will allow teachers to quickly assess the mastery of the skills in the previous grade. So in order for us teachers to avoid unnecessary reteaching. Okay, so what is this horizontal alignment? Okay, so it will make all teachers teaching the same subject in the grade level follow the same timeline and accomplishing the same learning outcomes. So sometimes this horizontal alignment is also called as the pacing guide. So it is necessary for state-mandated, standard-based assessment that we have in schools. Okay, next we have the vertical alignment. So it will see to it that concept development, which may be in hierarchy or in spiral form, does not overlap, but building from a simple to more complicated concept and skills. So this alignment, either horizontal or vertical, will develop interdisciplinary connections among teachers and students. So we, as teachers, can also verify that skills and content are addressed in other courses or to higher levels, thus making learning more relevant. Okay, so how to create a curriculum map? So the most robust type of curriculum map includes a complete description of how the curriculum standards will be converted into lesson plans. So a basic curriculum map includes the following. First, we have the standards. So standards are state, governmental, or other standards related to the class. The second one is the sequence. So sequence is the order in which standards will be taught in class. So more advanced curriculum maps include the following. First, we have the content. So when we say content, it is the subject matter itself. So this includes the key concepts, the facts, and events that are being taught. So there are three common formats for content. We have the discipline-based, second one is interdisciplinary, and the third is the student-centered. So when we say discipline-based, it focuses on the subject. And then the interdisciplinary focuses on connections between two or more subjects. And then we have the student-centered. It focuses on student-developed interest. Second one is skills. So skills, these are strategies that students should be able to do. These are what teachers are assessing, observing, and documenting. Third is assessments. So these are any number of broad approaches to gauge student learning. Then we have activities. So these are specific actions conducted within a classroom to drive student mastery in skills and or standards. Okay, so the fifth one is resources. So when we say resources, these are the additional information that can be accessed in order to enhance the student's understanding of content. Sixth, we have the essential questions. So these are questions that students should be able to answer at the end of the class that indicate their understanding of the content that was presented and their mastery skills. 7 is timelines. So it is the expected time that it will take to teach each unit within the class. Next is the pacing guide. Pacing guide helps teachers stay on track and to ensure curricular continuity across schools in the district. And then the last one is units. These are concepts and learning goals that are taught over a period of time. Okay, so the next one, we have the types of curriculum map. So we have 4 types. Although most curriculum maps will include the same elements, there are various methods of creating a curriculum map depending on the needs of teachers and students. Okay, so the first type of curriculum is the diary. Okay, so diary is a record of what was actually taught by a teacher in one subject in the school. So each teacher records what they do for an agreed period of time, and then it also can be used to adjust curriculum as necessary for the following year. The second type is projected. So when we say projected, it is created by an individual teacher for one course or subject before the term begins. So third is consensus. So consensus is used as a personal map by teachers for a curricula guidelines at a school or district level. All designers agree on the course learning based on standards, and it serves as the planned learning map. Okay, and then the last type is the essential. Entire school year of learning that is recorded by grading periods. So this serves as the base instruction map in which all who teach the course use the map to plan learning and create collaborative consensus or projected maps. Okay, so a curriculum map should not be confused with a lesson plan. Okay, so a lesson plan is an outline that details what will be taught, how it will be taught, and what resources will be used to teach it. So most lesson plans cover a single day or another short time period such as a week. On the other hand, curriculum maps offer a long-term overview of what has already been taught. It is not unusual for a curriculum map to cover an entire school year. Okay, so let us always keep in mind that a curriculum map is always a work in progress, meaning it enables us teachers or the curriculum review team to create and recreate the curriculum. Okay, so to end my report, to us, the ultimate goal of education is to spark pursuit of knowledge in the child so that they keep on learning as they grow into whoever they choose to be. That is according to John F. Kennedy.
Good morning. I'm Mildred Amilino, and my topic is about curriculum quality audit. Curriculum quality audit is a form of curriculum mapping. It is a process of mapping the curricular program or syllables against established standards. This process is supported by Susan Rufe when she said that the best practice in curriculum development and implementation require that discipline-based standard embody curricular and program scopes and sequences. The curriculum quality audit requires a written curriculum and tested curriculum link to both the taught and the written. Curriculum audit is also a rigorous, straightforward process that focuses on what it will take for many school or school system to deliver teaching and learning in the most effective ways. In essence, it is a system of organizational analysis. The curriculum audit will provide intense and independent scrutiny of schools or school systems like policies, planning, organizational relationships, administrative functioning, curriculum design and delivery, budgeting, facilities, and other factors that contribute to the optimization of the school systems. Specifically, the audit investigates three components: two fundamental instructional management issues, and one important issue in learning is: one, does the school system have a properly managed instructional program or curriculum that is planned, executed, and assessed in accordance with appropriate standards? Two, how does the school system conform to the standards of quality in instructional organization, which includes the following: A, adequacy, specific, and scope of board policies and planning. B, sufficient quality and directing for teaching and learning. And consistency, equity in schools and program implementation. And last, effectiveness of program and process monitoring and assessment. Another, use and allocation of budget and resources for productivity and quality improvement. And number three, are all students achieving success equally and effectively within the school's system, and if not, what can be done about it? In addition, the curriculum audit will compare your school systems for performance against 5 standards. These standards represent working characteristics that any complex organization must have in order to be responsive and responsible to its clients. These standards pertain to the school system's ability to demonstrate the following: 1. Control of resources, programs, and personnel. 2. Establishment of clear and valid objectives for students. 3. Internal consistency and rational equity in program development and implementation. 4. Use of the results from school-designed or adapted assessments to adjust, improve, or or terminate ineffective practices of programs. And last, im- improve product. Quality audit is a standard monitoring process that ensures proper assessment of a system, adequate implementation of process, elimination of problem areas, and boosting the efficiency of the methods. And last, audits can also be used for safety purposes. Evans and Parkers in 2008 describe auditing as one of the most powerful safety monitoring techniques and an effective way to avoid complacency and highlight slowly deteriorating conditions, especially when the auditing focuses not just on compliance but effectiveness. That ends my report.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Grace P. Veral, and my topic is about benefits of curriculum quality audit. The objectives are identify gaps under and overrepresentation of the curriculum based on the standards. 2. Ensure alignment of learning outcomes, activities, and assessment to the standards. 3. Achieves an internationally comparable curriculum as standards to become the basis of the curriculum analysis. The Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or the PPST can be used as anchor in the curriculum quality audit. The PPST aims to set clear expectations of teachers along well-defined career stages of professional development from beginning to distinguished practice. The Philippines has adopted and implemented the PPST through the Department of Education Order 42 Series 2017. Teacher educators, program heads, curriculum planners may refer to the PPST to quality audit, the pre-service teacher education curriculum as basis for quality assurance provision of teacher education. The PPST basically relevance to technology for teaching and learning by set the clear expectations for teacher, along well-defined career stages of professional development from beginning to distinguished practice, to engage teacher to actively embrace a continuing effort in attaining proficiency, and apply a uniform measure to assess teacher performance, identify needs, and provide support for professional development. Let us now have a short review about the PPST. PPST have 7 domains, collectively comprise 37 strands that refer to more specific dimensions of teacher practices. Number 1 domain is content, knowledge, and pedagogy is composed of 7 strands. Number 1, content knowledge and its application within and across curriculum areas. 2, research-based knowledge and principles of teaching and learning. 3, positive use of ICT. 4, strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. 5, strategies for developing critical and creative thinking as well as other higher order thinking skills. 6, mother tongue, Filipino, and English in teaching and learning. And the last one, classroom communication strategies. The domain 2, learning environment, consists of 6 strands. 1, learning safety and security. 2, fair learning environment. 3. Management of classroom structure and activities. 4. Support for learner participation. 5. Promotion of purposive learning. 6. Management of learner behavior. And the domain 3, diversity of learners, consists of 5 strands. Number 1, learners' gender, needs, strengths, interests, and experiences. 2. Learners' linguistic, cultural, socio-economic, and religious background. 3. Learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. 4. Learner in difficult circumstances. 5. Learners from indigenous groups. And the domain 4, curriculum planning, includes 5 strands. Number 1, planning and management of teaching and learning process. 2. Learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies, relevance, and responsiveness of learning program. 4. Professional collaboration to enrich teaching practice. 5. Teaching learning resources, including ICT. And the domain 5, assessment and reporting, is composed of 5 strands. 1. Design, selection, organization, and utilization of assessment strategies. 2. Monitoring and evaluation of learner progress and achievement. 3. Feedback to improve learning. 4. Communication of learner needs, progress, and achievement to key stakeholders. And number 5, the last one, use of assessment data to enhance a teaching and learning programs. The domain 6 is about community linkages and professional engagement, consists of 4 strands. The first one, establishment of learning environments and that are responsive to community context. 2. Engagement of parents and wider school community in the educative process. 3. Professional ethics. And 4. School policies procedure. And the last domain, domain 7, professional growth and professional development. It contains 5 strands. Number 1, philosophy of teaching. Next, dignity of teaching as a profession, professional reflection and learning to improve practice, and professional development goals. Benefits of curriculum quality audit. The first curriculum quality audit in teacher education curriculum in the Philippines was initiated by the Research Center for Teacher Quality, the Philippine Normal University, Cebu Normal University, West Visayas University, Western Mindanao State University, and the other member of universities of the National Network of Normal, or the 3Ns. Using the curriculum quality audit, teacher educators are assured that pre-service teachers embody the competencies of beginning teachers as they practice their profession in the Department of Education. Other standards that can use in the curriculum quality audit, aside from the PPST, are the CHED Memorandum Order Series 74 to 83. In the CHED Memorandum Order 74 Series 2017 contain the standards for Bachelor of Elementary level, and the CHED Memorandum Order 75 Series 2017 contain the standards for Bachelor of Secondary Education for teachers who will teach in the secondary level. Okay, the international standards for globalization for teacher competencies. We have 2. The first one, competency framework for teachers in Southeast Asia of Semeo and Simis. And the other one is European Tuning Asia Southeast or DATES. In the Southeast Asia Teachers Competency Framework, we have there are 4 goals. In every goals, there are 3 general competencies. The number 1 goal is know and understand what I teach. Under this are deepen and broaden my knowledge on what I teach. Number 2, understand education trends, policies, and curricula. 3, keep myself upgraded on local, national, regional, and global developments. Number 2 goal, help my students learn. Under these are know my students, use the most effective teaching and learning strategy, assist and give feedback on how my students learn. And number 3 goal, engage the community. Under these are partner with parents and caregivers, involve the community to help my students learn. And the last one, encourage respect and diversity. The last goal is become a better teacher every day. Under these are know myself and others. Number 2, practice human goodness in my life and in my work. Number 3, master my teaching practice.